focus on the changes, and when we start a workout, we never specify we want to achieve X amount of dollars. We just, I mean, we really have bought off on the quality is the goal, cost reduction, revenue enhancement is the exhaust, and it's proven to be the case. And so as we put in a corporate goal, we just say, well, we're going to shoot for this. We're going to shoot for this. We hope we get this. But then when we do a next workout, we don't put a goal out there. I mean, we're just trying to get to that in the background. But we don't say to anybody, you must achieve X amount of dollars.
But they do have to make 2 changes.
Yeah, you got to make changes, but you don't have to get a certain dollar amount out
And the
there.
filter.
And the money is just flowing.
Yeah. And we'll celebrate the $50 change, and we'll celebrate the $200,000 change.
I think a lot of it is casting the vision that we've got to take cost out. We can
increase rate.
And increase rate. We can do cost out by, you know, we'll just get rid of people, or we'll do the dastardly things, or you as a manager can find stuff that you can literally take out, and it's actually not going to hurt anybody. It's going to make your life better, and actually may make it more efficient. And I think they get into the sense that if I don't do it this way, this is what could happen down here, and they really get on board. And I think it's
taking pride in that.
Taking pride in it.
Finding going, wow.
Well, and another point is all of our managers have margin goals that are usually somewhere in the 40% to 50% part of their incentive plan. So in the year they find it, they're helping themselves make their margin targets in that year. And then it'll come out of the budget the next year. So real time, they're getting a tangible benefit than the current year.
We look at our history, what we've done in the last couple of years, and we look at what we think we're going to be working on. As far as we can project it, yeah, we'll probably do a weight workout. What do you think we'll do next after that? Okay, what do we think the number will be? That's how we pick it out. And then I was going over this with the board, our achievement on all our strategic plans. Just this last week, we had a retreat. We had a BHA trustee retreat, and we took a day at the end of it to do some planning. And we got to that point, and everybody said, "Oh, that's great." And our chairman said, "You need to increase that goal."
we exceeded it by about
2-3 million.
2-3
He said, "Yeah, it really ought to be higher." And I said, "Well, okay. No good deed goes unpunished." Is that what you're saying?
I think the level of awareness that having the focus of the 100-day workout process has brought to core measures and all the different moving parts that are associated with being successful with core measures has been a really important factor. And then in addition to that, having the people with the ability to implement the changes being the people who are actually coming up with the changes and who are accountable for coming up with those changes has been sort of a different approach for us, and has been especially helpful as well. Our black belts have really liked the changes that the 100-day workout process has brought. It has allowed them to really serve more in a consulting role, where they use the tools that they have in what we call their quality improvement toolbox to help promote the change, but they aren't the people who are driving the change. It's the process owners who are accountable for making changes, and so therefore our black belts are being sought out for their services and are being asked for assistance in making rapid cycle improvement recommendations, really, and then to do some statistical analysis on some of the rapid cycle improvements. I think the other thing that our black belts have really appreciated is that the accountability, and actually our executive team has appreciated this even more than our black belts, the accountability has been greatly simplified. No longer are we having to scrutinize the elements of an actual improvement. The thing that we're concerned about is that lots of improvements are being made, and that in all those numerous improvements that are being made, some of them are going to work and some of them aren't going to work. Fortunately, the critical mass of the ones that work are enough to drive the change that we're looking for.
The particular things around our workouts, our 100-day workouts, which instituted it was all about speed. But speed isn't about just go faster, try harder, manager. It specifically has to do, I think, with two things, technique and cadence. If you get technique and cadence right, you'll improve your pace, which is all about the speed. It isn't about improving at the same rate as everybody else. We got to improve faster. And the leaders need structure. And the structures that we utilized specifically had to do with the workout structure, chunks of time to focus on specific themes, accountability of monthly reportings, checkouts, pure accountability related to that, and then an expectation of improvement of a couple changes per manager per month.
We went back for all of the previous changes and used the Pareto principle at 2080 and asked accounting to get with all of the folks who put things in the green catcher and validate them, see if they were still true and if they were in place. And the number was 93% of everything that we had found that was dark green was still there. So it's not that we had any slippage.
I think one of the cultural breakthroughs related to that, aside from all the specific technique pieces, has to do with when you look at benchmarking. That's, and I'm a manager, that's an external thing that you're somebody trying to impose on me, and I have no control over that. So in the end, it's about ownership and control. I don't own that benchmark, and I don't control it. It's an external to in. The in-quality staffing gives you culturally an opportunity to go inside out. It gives me the ownership in helping set, this is my range of quality I'm trying to stay within, or I want to be within with my staff, that I've put my thumbprint on with my team and so on. We got the buy-in. And so I own it, and I feel some control over that. The other thing is then I feel like I'm playing offense instead of defense, which psychologically and motivationally is a huge difference, again, multiplied by multiple people, etc. So the in-quality staffing tool was a critical process learning. It also got us away from what we and many in hospitals have used forever, which is a grid or something based on hours per patient day, which is fine for finance guys to look at overall, over long periods of time. But as you know, patients don't experience our averages. They experience our variations, which means by shift, if not by hour of the day, when staffing and demand are not matched as well as they should be.
We did the inequality staffing, the initial part of the engagement with Caldwell Butler, and had a great result with inequality staffing. And it's been, what, 4 years since we looked at it, and we decided we'd look at it this last spring workout. And we got Chip to come and work with us again. He gave us a suggestion, why don't you do a SIPOP along with the inequality staffing, not just focusing on departments, but focusing on the flow, the surgical patient, the medical patient, at the same time you're doing the departmental side. So that was your point, looking at things a little bit differently. How can we look at something different? Yeah, we want to do inequality staffing. Now we're going to do it with a twist. So we did it with a twist. And we had a lot of anxiety because, we've done this before, it was new. May have been the first for Caldwell Butler too, but no, we've all done all this before. Okay.
But you guys are the best. See, I know how to suck up. That's right. I learned from the master.
But that SIPOP, it was the most energized that I've been in years because of what it showed us was hidden that we couldn't see, the opportunities. We can't even do them all that we found in the revenue cycle, IT constraints, whatever. But we know they're out there, and we've got a list now. Okay, we want to go after this one. Can we weave this one in? And so we've got a queued up list.
What are we doing right that's making, because we want to keep doing it, and figure out what's working for them. If the trend's going the other way, what are we doing wrong? And how can we address those issues? And we look at some financial numbers, we look at quality numbers, and the physicians are engaged in this. And it has been one of the most positive things we've done. We have council meetings, as you know, the old structure of departments and medical staff meetings just never worked. And we focused on individual service lines with the docs, with upper management, and with dealing with issues in a very timely manner.
Getting started with vascular, the market share was 95% at the other hospital, 5% at ours when we got started. And they just sort of relatively came to the meeting and, well, you guys have never really done a good job because that's why we don't practice at your facility. Or what do we got to do? We created lists and started checking things off. And through time, we have moved it to 50-50. And the new vascular surgeons are, one of them is 60-40 Floyd, and the other one is about 50-50 Floyd. So we've got a really good trend now going towards vascular surgery into the future. So they're not going to come if you don't produce value